Hello everyone and welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion. It's GT3 Season 5, Round 5 at Imola. I am your special substitute commentator, Bum Squirrel 22, and I'm joined by the oral otter of doom, Random Dave. How you doing, Dave?
I'm alright. I've got a bit of a cold, stroke COVID, don't know what, one of them.
Now, one of the lurgies of doom there, they're all lurking around at the moment. So, Imola then, the classic Italian circuit. Or San Marino, if you fancy, from the 90s F1 era, like we are. What do you make of the track, Dave? Do you like it?
Yeah, kind of. I think that, I just disagree with some of the off tracks. Like, that the final chicane should be really enjoyable and you should be able to attack it, but it's just like the half a car thing. Just don't really agree with it.
Yeah, it's been a bit tightened up. So the championship standings, we've got Jordi Spetgens on top at the moment from Alpha Esports Red. He was dominating the first half of the season, but he seems to drop back a bit. So, what's your view on the championship? Who's your money on?
I mean, Jordi, really. I mean, the thing is that he now doesn't need to go hell for leather, right? And he just needs to get, solid results. So I suspect that, that he's, that will explain why he's kind of going for the lower bits of podiums rather than wins at the moment.
Yeah, fair point. Yep, and Club 1500 then, we've got Jan Pruis leading the way from Mark Innes, but look at that, only 2 points between them, and Chris White is not far behind him either, as is Gabriel Carollo and Eric Piusi. So that's a really tasty looking fight in that championship. Anyone standing out there for you?
I'll probably have to go for Mark, to be honest. Hasn't he missed a race as well? So
I believe he has, yeah.
I'm not quite sure if that 2 points is
genuine. Yeah, so once the drop scores come in, it might all look a bit different. Yeah, lovely slow-mo of the Alpha Esport Red team, and there is on the screen then they're leading by a very comfortable margin of 75 points from Risky Racing Blue, who have been a bit sporadic at the moment. It's been nice to see Greening in second in the championship, hopefully they can take the fight to them. And the A team in third there with Black Dove Racing in fourth, Sleepy Time Racing Yellow in fifth place. So it's quite tight at the top 3 or 4, and then it all just gets a bit strung out further down.
Yeah, I think Risky Racing. I think the thing is we're kind of missing Mr. Messenger there, really.
Yes, yeah, no, totally, yeah. And in the Club 1500, we've got Wizards of Lifton Coast Transmutation on top in that split. Only Dans and Team Heat together in second and third, and then Transmogrification in fourth and McClary in fifth. All tight between those two, and Sleepy Time Racing Green, which is Mr. Innes.
I think it's McLaren. So it's McLaren, I think.
I keep saying McLaren, I know, yeah. So penalties from round 4 then.
The same with my former co-commentator as well.
Yeah, Chris Forrester with the super murder punt into the final corner on Dan Shaw. So he's got a pit lane start for causing the collision, and appears to be the only one taking a drop. So Oliver Walker on pole position then from David Lyne, Rob Miller in third, Stephen Greening in fourth. Then we've got Evan Conception, Lee Harding, Paul Gerber, and then Mark Innes on pole for the Clubbers with Winslade behind him. And then we've got Rick Barrow, Stephen Maxwell in 11th and Dan Shaw in 12th. So it's all quite tight between the back of the top split and the front of the Clubbers. Gabriel Carollo in 13th, Chris Forrester in 14th, but he will be starting from the pit lane. Nigel Jobling, wow, he's far down, as is Jordi Spetgens, 15th and 16th. Let's see how fast they get through the field. Mark Sirag is in 17th with Chris White in 18th. Then we've got Dal Gerber, Steve Pepper, Juan Escamilla, Manuel Cruz, Jason Weaver, Rich Meesters, Stephen McCann, Don Parker going from the back, as is Graham Barsley, Gavin Kelly and Merrin Hugavin. So expect to see some interesting times as these top splitters try to get through the field. But yeah, Walker on pole though.
Yeah, Walker and Lyne second. Did you know that Walker he physically can't hum?
Wow, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I look forward to learning more about Ollie as we go through the race. So cars are now rolling.
Lyne's disappeared.
Lyne has disappeared. He blinked, rolled forward and then just disappeared again. So what's happened there? Not ideal for Lyne and the A team. There's Miller though, his teammate, in the second row of the grid. with a freebie promotion. Greening is now up to second place, obviously. So as they come through the Rivazza to start, get this race underway. Yeah, we had some hanky-panky silly business last season with this start, so let's see if we can get away cleanly.
Beamer's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3 now, line's gone.
Yeah. And he's dropped the hammer then, off they go then. Ollie Walker leading the way down to the Tamburello chicane for the first time. It's Greening in second, but look at that, Miller down the inside, and he's going to have the inside line into the chicane, and he's into second place. Greening's hanging on though. No, he's slotted into third now. It's that Conception really whacking the curbs as they came through there. Innes holding on in the lead in the clubbers. Coming down to the Villeneuve chicane. Looks like everyone's safely through there. There's Winslade in his Lamborghini. Oh, got contact at the back then. That's someone round. That's Stephen McCann, it looks like, unfortunately.
Looks like line just right at the back as well.
Yeah, there was... no, sorry, I beg your pardon. It was Weaver who was going round in the grey Ferrari, unfortunately. Big shame for him. Wow, look at the teammates, Barrow and Greening's line astern. I do love the sound of that Merc. It is such a gargly noise. It's great.
Yeah, it hasn't been going too well though, has it? It hasn't been all that fast in the championship so far, is it? People don't really like it.
No, yeah, and I think it's been nerfed again now. With it's been balanced, so it's not as quick as it used to be in the hands of the really fast guys either.
I think Rick in particular doesn't like it. I won't tell you what he said about potentially, about asking to swap it out for something else.
Oh,
which he can't.
Which he can't. No, he's stuck with it but there's only another 3 races after this, Rick, so it's not too long to wait. Oh, Miller running wide then. That's allowed Greening through, and Evan Conception in the Japanese-inspired livery on the Audi. And it's Paul Gerber in the Lamborghini behind them in 5th place. Then we've got the 2 sleepy time boys. And then Spetgens, so he's come up all the way from 16th on the grid, Dave. Impressive start.
Yeah, I suspect that he didn't set a valid lap, a good valid lap in qualifying.
Yeah,
it was probably Gerber, kind of just a lap with a mistake in it, basically, that got him in 16th or whatever.
Yeah, Paul Gerber there from Team Tryhard, really putting the pressure onto Miller ahead of him, but he's slotted in behind again now. We've got to be keeping an eye on Spetgens behind him. Whoa, Winslade round at Aqua Minerale, and he's got to be kicking himself for that one because he's dropped out of 2nd place in Club 1500, and on only his 2nd lap. It's going to be a long old race from there. So you've got Ollie Walker now nearly a second in front, Dave, at the lead of the field. And incidentally, did you know that Rick Astley is Oliver Walker's favourite musician?
I did not know that. I mean, I heard a rumour about it. Did you also know that Ollie's uncles are Milli Vanilli?
No, but that would explain his fantastic dancing skills when he's trying to defend people. Oh, hang on, cutting you off. Oh no, this all gone pear-shaped here. That's Winslade into the back of Meesters, and looks like they collect Dom Parker, and there was someone else in there as well. Oh, must have been Mr. McCann. Look, that is an absolute melee down there in the Rivazzas. What a shame. Winslade's lap's gone from bad to worse, and he's probably going to be visiting the stewards after this one. Just caught a glimpse of Merrin Hugovin in a very smart looking Wizards Porsche. Great move by Dan Shaw, putting the move on Lee Harding. It is. Wow. So Shaw currently 2nd place in the clubbers. We've got a replay here. This is Dave Line, so he's joining the race at the back. This was at the beginning of the race then, so... Ooh, Kelly very wide. Oh, so that must have been what happened then. So Kelly goes wide, as does Weaver, and then Stephen McCann from the Wizards, nowhere to go, and into the back of him, or side. Big shame is Miller out breaking himself at the Tamburello chicane, as we saw earlier on, and that let Greening and Conception through. And a replay of Winslade just dropping it just in front of Stephen Maxwell, who's very lucky to get away with that.
I've done that before. If you just drop your wheels slightly on that curb, you're off.
Yeah, it's agonising when it happens. Oh, Parker. And that's Winslade's wheel tracks there, so this must have been happening right at the same time. And on board with Winslade, just caught out by the braking of the cars ahead of him, and it all goes horribly wrong for 4 drivers. What a big shame.
Winslade.
Typical Winslade, eh?
Yep.
Dirty Winslade has returned. Hold on to your underpants. So, back to live. Ooh, that's Rick Barrow, I beg your pardon, getting it wrong at Tamburello. Back on track safely, though. Gabriel Carollo putting a great move on one of the McLarets. And we've got Mark Sirag, and so he's in 5th place in the clubbers, and he's under attack from Gerber. And there's Manuel Cruz in 8th. The cameraman's having a bit of a fit, and we're chopping and changing between a lot of cars here, so there must be a lot of action going on, as you can see from the timing tower, with how close many of the cars are.
Yeah, Conception's holding on well in the Audi. My experience of the Audi round here is just not the best.
Yeah, and that's going to affect the Lambo drivers as well, surely, because I mean they are basically a very similar platform. Oh, it's a bit wide there for Mark Innes, and he's going to be under attack from Dan Shaw very soon for the lead of Club 1500. 4 tenths between them, and Carollo's a good 4 seconds back. And I wonder how this is going to play them with the lead Sleepy Time drivers being behind Innes here. He's going to want to massage him through. Back to the front, there's Rob Miller from the A-team. Currently running in 4th then. Oh, and here comes Shaw to take the lead of Club 1500 if he can get this move done. It's gone to the outside. That's exciting stuff going on here. So Harding trying to get through the 2 clubbers. And he's gone to the outside of Shaw into the hairpin of Tosa. Right round the outside. Great move there from our reigning GT3 champion. What was he running last year? Was he in the Merc last year? Or was he
Lambo, I think.
Yeah.
It was Lambo and occasionally the Beamer.
Right. Well, I'll be interested to see what they both appear in next season then.
Not the Merc.
It won't be the Merc, I think. Safe to say, yeah. Oh, Nigel Jobling then, towing from the Aqua Minerale gravel trap. We're on board of him here. Oh, catches the grass matting, round he goes. Oh. Not one of Nigel's best days, unfortunately. Hope he comes back strong for the next round. Just going to be at the Red Bull Ring, which is a completely different sort of circuit, which should be quite fun to see, won't it?
So yeah, Aqua Minerale has caught a few people out, isn't it, so far?
Yes.
It's always the only corner I can remember.
Are you Sam Stott?
Yeah, doesn't he call like every single corner Aqua Minerale?
He does, yeah.
So lines into pit, but I'd be surprised if he can take a full tank to get to the finish.
Yeah, that's way too early, isn't it? Only lap 6 and 9 minutes of the 45 gone. Got a great battle here with Merin Hugavin. He's going past one of the McLarets and of Chris White. Didn't see which of the other drivers he was fighting there. Mark Innes still in the lead of Club 1500 then, and still being pursued by Dan Shaw. So I think it might have been Mark. Looks like he'd had a problem coming out of Tosa there. Well, was Dan clutching there? It sounded like he was a tiny... Oh, Mark! Round he goes! Oh, that's a big shame. Oh, I didn't want to see that battle being decided by an accident or a spin. That's a big shame. That's allowed Shaw off the hook. And Carollo has been closing in. Look, he was 4 seconds behind. He's now only 2.6. But the big question is that because Dan was being sort of held up as he struggled to make the move on Innes? Innes now running again, and he's 7th. Oh, nearly dropping it again. I presume that's Kelly getting past in the Wizards BMW. And he's right up the chuff of Steve Pepper here. Down the outside now. Oh, Mark, that's way too optimistic.
He's going to avoid the wall though there.
Yeah. Oh, and Hugavin.
I don't think Merrin qualified, did he?
He doesn't give a monkey's about GT3 this season.
I think he's basically doing about 50 hours over every fortnight for F3. So yeah, he doesn't. He's just given up on GT3.
Yeah, this is just a bit of fun time driving for him, which is totally understandable. So that's a replay of Innes's big mistake. Oh yes, 2 wheels on the grass as he came down to the braking zone there, and in any car that's going to cause a big problem. And then we see Mark's optimistic move in the background. Oof. Oh, it looked like a little dink of contact.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was an optimistic move. I think he got a little bit of a touch there.
Oh, we'll have to ask him what his view was.
Saying that, you can't really go around the outside there, can you? So,
no.
It was an optimistic move. It's difficult enough going down the inside there.
It's a hell of a braking zone, and yeah, I mean, I've made the few moves there before in the past, and it is a heck of a lot of fun, but it's risky, and you do need the other driver to cooperate with you, I think.
You can get slowed down very easily if you take too much of the inside apex, right?
That's right, yeah. The gap is coming down at the front then between Oliver Walker and Stephen Greening. Mark Sirag in 5th here in the clubbers. And incidentally, did you know that Oliver Walker thinks Noel Edmonds is his real dad? Which is kind of strange. We're on board with Mark Sirag here, and he's going to make a move on Dale Gerber. He's gone to the outside as we head to the Villeneuve chicane. Sorry, the Tamburello, beg your pardon. Getting one chicane ahead of myself here. Stays behind for the minute, but they head up to the Villeneuve chicane. This is this one then. Goes to the outside as they head to Tosa. And no move on at the moment. We've got a replay here then. This is Stephen Maxwell and presumably Rick Barrow. Oh, Maxwell very wide. Keeps it out of the wall though. We saw Winter throw away the Club 1500 F3 lead last season there when he ran wide there and put it in the wall. Back to the front of the field then. Oliver Walker currently leading the way from Stephen Greening. The gap is half a second between these two.
Did you know that Ollie was once arrested for walking around with his flies undone at Chesington World of Adventures?
No, I didn't. I heard a similar story about him at Thorpe Park though, so it's obviously a bit of a habit of his.
Yeah, done the rounds, yeah. It's probably why he's banned from Poltons as well. Everyone's been banned from Poltons, haven't they?
Yeah, drunk and disorderly and upsetting the cockatoos. So we're on board with Stephen Greening. They're currently running in 2nd place, and into Tosa he goes. So fascinating battle then between these two, both running in the BMW. And Miller hounding Conception who's hanging on in third in the Audi. I mean, that's a pretty great drive, because you were saying that the Audi's difficult round here, Dave.
Yeah, but well, you say hanging on, but I know I'd say he is dropping back a bit, and my feeling is that Miller is, being held up a bit here.
Yeah.
But it's not the easiest place to overtake on. I mean, you've basically got turn 1, and that's it. Really.
Well, we did talk about the Ravazza move.
I don't remember where Ravazza is, but if it's the one I think it is, it's doable, but only if your opponent is compliant or quite a lot slower, I think.
It's the double left, yeah.
Yeah, if they mess up the chicane, yeah, you do it.
What about the hairpin then after the second chicane? Tosa.
They're all sketchy. I think it's if you're up against somebody who's driving solidly, I think it's just turn 1.
Right.
Otherwise you need a half mistake.
Yeah. Kelly's having a good run here. Then he's come up from the back of the grid, and he's running 10th in top split at the moment. But look at that. I mean, that's not really telling the whole story, because he has cleared half the field. And we see Line, he's come up past a few cars as well.
He has pitted.
And started from the pit lane.
Has he done his only pit though? That's the question.
Yes, indeed, yeah. So Serac still trying to get past Gerber. And I wonder if Kelly's now going to start wondering if he's getting holed up here. So this is lap 10 and 16 minutes in of a 45-minute-ish race. So this is the hairpin. I mean, it's doable into here. There's not much of a run from the chicane, is there? So
yeah,
wow, Conception's really using the curbs there, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's pretty good, isn't he? Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but let's see. Your best chance here, really, if you're Rob, is to just try and maximise that last corner as much as you can to try and get the run.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's going to be the safest option, realistically.
You got like when you're doing qualifying and you're throwing caution to the wind, you just go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. It's on the grass.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go around the outside there though, because the outside becomes the inside, but not on the grass.
No, that's a big shame then. Is that shades of Bottas and what's his name?
The guy that was always never has a shirt on. What's his name? Russell.
Wow, Serac showing you how to do it, then gets around Dal Gerber. What a great move that was. Very, very clean and clinical. Must have had a super run off the final corner. Here's a replay then of the Miller Conception incident. Yeah, just gets on the grass, spears it round. Hugely unfortunate.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to get a really nice run onto the main straight, you can get on the throttle as early as possible into the final corner, that left-hander, and then cut that apex as much as you possibly dare, right? But the thing is, you only run the risk of getting an off-track, but if you just get it perfect, you can get on the throttle very early out there.
Yeah.
But it's something you generally only do in qualifying, because in a race, your hit rate at getting an off-track is like 1 in 3, right? So.
Very true, yeah. And we just saw Rick Barrow actually clip the pit wall.
It's for the lead, isn't it?
This is for the lead, yeah. Stephen Greening then going to the outside. Walker gives him a car's width and no more.
Yep, around the outside. That's exactly what Rob was trying to do earlier on.
Yeah, that's really nicely done, yeah. So, Stephen Greening into the lead of the race then, from Ollie Walker in second, and it's Paul Gerber now up into third. And did you see how close he was to getting collected by Miller's spinning car in that incident? He was the the funky coloured Lambo going through. Conception now in the pit lane, presumably for some repairs after that incident.
Possibly, or maybe slightly repairs, but also maybe a planned pit stop, I guess.
What do you think maybe he's changed his strat now to accommodate.
I think once you have a little instant and start going back in the pack a little bit, then you might switch your strat.
Yeah. Yeah, the strategies are getting a lot more advanced and interesting the longer we continue with the racing using pit stops. So it's really been interesting to see it develop over the time we've been using pits and not just like doing sprinty races.
I think the issue is though, with compared to sort of proper kind of high tier sort of motor racing, is that you don't have an engineer in your ear telling you where there's a gap that you can fall into. You're just kind of quite often when you pit, do an early pit, you're just fingers crossed that you're not going to come out behind a load of people that you've got to pass.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
You've got your relative, but I mean, it's only so much that you tell.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process when you're also trying to drive. Well, Ollie's flying back here.
He's really close, isn't he?
Did you know that every year at 2 p.m. on the 14th of August, Ollie's body casts a shadow that looks the spitting image of Jeff Goldblum?
That is incredible. I'm going to put that in my calendar for next year. Watch out, Ollie, I'm coming to your house on the 14th of August. Well, he's really tracking greening now. The BMW's lights always look really weird when it gets round to that sort of almost just when it's about to go to the side of it, and the headlights always look like animalised. It's quite strange when you see it, and then you see them from the other view and they're just like brilliant headlights and stuff. It's quite strange. Well, look, he still says he's racing for Blackpink, but of course he's not. He's Alpha Esports Red. Because he does the esport tings. Here's his teammate then, Geordie Spetgens, up to 4th place and chasing after Paul Gerber. He's very close to him as they head down to the Ravazzas. That must be presumably a lapped Rich Meesters after his unfortunate contact with Winslade and Parker early on in the race. Wow, Gerber's gone into the pits then. Spetgens is through and released up to 3rd. Greening still ahead of Ollie Walker. And did you know that Ollie's launching his own range of sports yogurts, and he's going to be calling them Joggurts?
That's commendable.
It is, yeah. Look out for Joggurts. And in Europe they're going to be called Joggurts.
But you know what Ollie's like with business and that.
Yeah.
Well, he's got his offshore bank accounts. I hear he's got a load of embezzled assets from moonpig.com.
You would not believe the amount of sofas that are collapsed in his house with the embezzled funds he shoves in them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Wow, he's really close now. Looks gap is still 0.4 of a second. It looks closer in some shots. Let's hope these two can keep it clean, because they're treating us to a fantastic battle for the lead.
Ollie definitely have the upper hand in qualifying, but as usual, Steve tends to be, sort of comparatively compared to his qualifying, quite strong in the race. But like I mean, both of them know this track so well, I guess. But I do know that Steve last night was messaging around saying, anyone got any setups? And nobody answered.
So he's probably on like a baseline then, yeah.
Oh, I suspect he just got an old VRS one or something, which I think is what most people have done.
Right. So we're looking at Stephen Maxwell. We cut away now to Mark Innes, who's challenging hard against Chris White. And now Gabriel Carollo running second place in the clubbers, and that's Stephen Maxwell blasting past into the Tamburello chicane once again. So let's look at that gap then in the club. Oh, what's happened here? Maxwell, did he get a slowdown? Because Carollo's just gone straight back through again. Sure is a long way ahead now. Look, that's a colossal gap. And Shaw is running. He's actually running 5th on the road overall. That's astonishing, isn't it?
It is. What's the gap behind Harding?
Well, Harding's miles back, isn't he? Where is he? No, there he is. So yeah. Well, we can't see because it just says interval, unfortunately.
No, why is it just saying interval? Yeah. I mean, this is quite lazy, isn't it? You could just write interval down that entire column.
Yeah, but it's because he's the leader of the class, so it's in class order. So
yeah. I know it is good to obviously understand the classes, but also look how mixed up it is. It's good.
Well, I think Dan has come in. So he joined the league this year, and he's already won an F3, won his debut F3 race, and currently leading in GT3 this time out. So I think he's going to get a swift boot upstairs to top split before too long.
So I think at this point, Ollie's probably thinking about pitting. Well, he's thinking he wants to do something different from Steve.
Yeah. So we talked earlier, didn't we, about the fact that the guys are getting quite canny with their pit strats. So do you think he's going to try and use that to kind of, hopefully find a bit of clear air? We've got various drivers popping in and out of the pits. We can see that's Dal Gerber in there at the moment. There's a big queue of cars ahead of him, isn't there?
Although he's got this traffic coming up, and that you look at that and think that's an opportunity,
Yeah.
But also you kind of look at that and go, well, that's going to slow down your opposition. So if I pit now,
look at this though. He's got the inside line,
and that's Parker. Steve missed up the chicane.
Yeah, Don Parker just blinking on the lights to say you guys get through. Obviously, he had his race ruined earlier on. Huge shame, because it's always fun to see just how far Dom can get through the pack. But then again, he does seem to do better when he actually qualifies, so maybe he'll put an end to these silly burn from the sterns.
Yeah, I am hoping that Ollie does well here, because I hear that he's in a lot of trouble for getting a metal detector for his girlfriend for her birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was he hoping to find?
I think he just thought that she'd be into metal detectors.
I thought he wanted to scan her with the metal detector.
I think he just
Got a replay. So he's down inside. That's cheeky from Steve though. Very nice canny driving. He boxed Ollie in behind Dom and stopped him being able to use that better run out of the chicane and get into the lead. Smart driving by the pair of them there. Ollie has to settle for second place still. Ooh, David Leinen now up behind Evan Conception. So we know both of these drivers have had a couple of incidents so far then. Dave with his pit lane start and then an early pit stop. And then Evan getting collected by Dave's teammate, Rob Miller.
Yeah, it seems that he's had most of the race with an 18 driver behind him.
Yeah. Oh, super close. Look at that. 2 temps as they come onto the straight now. This has got to be an attack by Ollie Walker to regain the lead.
Outside, inside.
Oh, was that 2 moves or?
No, well, that was.
Steve?
I mean, you're overtaking, right? So do what you like.
No, I meant.
Oh, by Steve.
Yeah.
Mm.
Look questionable. Ooh, that would be brave into Villeneuve. It can be done, but I mean, it's again, it's another one of those ones where
Oh,
it's
there we
going to
go.
end
There we
into
go.
oh, greening wide, keeps it out of the wall though. Oh, what a huge another. Ah, that's disappointing. So we had Innes spinning out of the lead from the Club 1500, which denied us a great battle, and now we've had Greening running wide.
Still got 50
out of
minutes
the
left
chicane.
and only a few seconds between them, so it's not over yet.
Yes. Oh yeah, so he got a snap of oversteer and had to correct left. Inevitable result going off the road.
It is a tricky little sequence, that, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because you're doing most of the braking between the two apexes.
Well, yeah, half of the braking, definitely. You've got to do a big dab of the brakes right between those two apexes.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but what I mean is you take the first apex much quicker than the second sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's Maren Hugevin then. He's being chased by Paul Gerber.
Ah, two 18s.
Poor old Evan, he's gonna feel a bit bullied. And talking of people being bullied, did you know that Ollie Walker is allergic to Walker's crisps?
That's unfortunate, isn't it? Really?
It really is, yeah. He only likes the hedgehog flavour crisps, and they're quite hard to find these days.
What is it in particular about Walker's crisp compared to, like any other kind of crisps?
I think it's the type of oil they use. It's different to Golden Wonder, and it brings them out in hives.
All right. Talking of
swollen tongue.
Talking of food-related facts about Ollie, do you know there's a warrant out for his arrest in Guernsey for selling out-of-date Toblerones?
It's the kind of thing he would do.
It's just, it's one of those things like, oh, Ollie, not again.
Yeah, not again. Talking of not again, we see Maren Hugevin into the pits, along with Lee Harding. He's coming out in 5th place after his stop. And we're already 31 minutes into this race then, so well into the traditional pit cycle if you're doing the long run late splash and dash. So looking at the order, we've got Ollie Walker in the lead of the race, Stephen Greening's in 2nd, and Geordie Spetgens is in 3rd. Dan Shaw is currently 4th place overall and leading Club 1500, and Stephen Maxwell is in 4th for the top split. Then we've got Gabriel Carollo in 2nd and Mark Innes in 3rd. Chris White is in 4th for the clubbers. Those guys are very far up the order, but as you can see, none of those guys they're all yet to stop, and it's Paul Gerber who's the first of the stoppers. He's running in 5th in top split.
Few of the podium people pitting now, so
yeah. Again, so Greening in, Spetgens in, and this Gerber being held up here by Chris White. I mean, Chris isn't going to want to give this up too easily because he is having a stormy drive, but obviously he's going to be aware that Gerber is in the split above. So no points for keeping him behind. And Chris is going to want to keep that podium. Whoa, big bit of oversteer as he came through there. I wonder if he was just trying to make his intentions known that he was going to let Paul through there as well. Back to the Conception Hunt as he's being chased by the two 18 drivers.
Not close enough for him to do a move, but
no.
If you force him into being defensive, then maybe next time. But he wasn't defensive enough.
Well, he's he's quite a young guy, isn't he? But he's been racing for a considerable amount of time and obviously knows his way around a racetrack and a race car.
Didn't he won Hockenheim, didn't he?
He did indeed, yeah. So, Ollie Walker now in the pit lane then from the lead of the race. That means Dan Shaw from Club 1500 is currently 2nd place on the road overall. An astonishing drive he's having. There's Ollie in the pit lane then. Is Dan going to get a glow? Whoa! Conception's just dropped it through Aqua Minerale. Keeps it on the road. Gets back on the road after a huge sideways moment though, but that's both the 18 drivers through.
He's got to be careful though, because it's instant limit. Got to be careful you don't hit it.
Yes. And what is it? 15 or 12 with the GT3s?
I think it's 15 or 16, but around here that's really easy to hit. I wouldn't be surprised if a few people hit that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a close battle here then between Kelly from the Wizards and Rick Barrow and Mirin Hugavin. So a pair of Wizards and a sleepy time here. So we saw Dan Shaw was in the pit lane, as was Stephen Maxwell from top split. They're both coming out the pits now. Oh, we can see we'll wait for the order board to shake itself out. Then Innes has been into the pits, as Chris White has as well. Miller and Line then making their stately progress through a back marker. So that is Shaw on the back of them then with Conception as well. Got a replay here then. Oh, this is the Evan moment. Oh, a bit of damage do you think might be done to the floor there, but what a great hold. I can't believe he kept that going in a straight line.
So Walker's got 2.6 for greening here. That's opened up a bit, isn't it? But let's see if that could, if Greening gets the bit between his teeth during the closing stages.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens here. So that's Rich Meesters, I believe, in the Wizards Merc, letting these guys through. Such a shame to see his race being unravelled by the unruly windslade into the back of him earlier on. I don't feel like we've seen that many sort of collisions. It's more, a lot of it has been sort of driving mistakes more than anything. The only two I can really think of are the Windslade Meesters one, Innes on the outside of Pepper, and obviously Miller and Conception. Oh, well, I suppose actually, Jason, who's just had a little spin, unfortunate to see. Don't forget, you can take part in the Oval Division races. They do take part a US-friendly time of the day, but they are great fun. Really great group of people over there on the Oval Division. Replay of Kelly and Rick Barrow side by side into Aqua Minerale. That is bold stuff, and Hugavin taking advantage. So Kelly's gone defensive on the way in. Barrow's just hung it right round the outside. Hugavin's just given his fellow wizard a quick tap on the rear, and off he goes. Oh no, Kelly's going to hold on.
Yeah, he's got it there.
Oh, nice bit of action there between those three. And we've got Windslade now ahead of Hugavin and Parker and Kelly as well. So
Walker just got the fastest lap there for 41.4, which is pretty fast around here in these conditions.
Yeah, 2/10 faster than Greening just behind.
Gap up to 3 seconds. Yeah, and Geordie's just sitting there doing enough to win a championship, really.
Yeah.
It's a bit of synchronised swimming going on there.
There was a bit though, wasn't it? Yeah. Miller just being shuffled ahead.
Suspect because Line has to pit again.
Was that Maxwell making the move on Conception there? It was. So Stephen Maxwell now up into 8th. Conception down to 9th. Such a shame that the wheels came off his race somewhat. Oh, and here's Graham Bardsley. We haven't seen him all race. He was another one of the starting at the back hard chargers. He's currently running in 10th in class. I was just thinking back actually. You remember that Ollie used to race for the Rumblebees back when he first joined the league. It just seems like quite a long time ago now, really. But it was apparently quite a scarring incident, sort of time for him, because he's now got a phobia of minions since he raced in that team. So that's why he's got no yellow on his car these days.
That's quite a common thing. It's got a name, hasn't it? For minions, it's got one of those sort of scientific phobia names. You know what it's called, don't you?
I'll have to look it up. Tell me though. Do you know?
I'll have to look it up.
Despicabobia. So here's this train then. This is quite a fun group then. So you got Winslade, who's the clubber, and he's leading Hoogeveen, Parker and Kelly.
Disappointingly, I think it's called Minion Phobia, which is
boring.
Or maybe it's Blancophobia. No, that's not. Oh no, it is. Oh no, it might be. It's fear of minions or Chinese children.
Wow, I thought Blancophobia was fear of Humphrey Bogart.
Could be. I mean, this is I'm not sure what I'm reading here. It's Wiki. Probably not true.
No, you never trust Wiki.
I think Ollie is actually the worst for just going in and randomly changing wiki pages.
Yeah.
Down for it.
Yeah, you can't trust the guy. Not for that. Hoogeveen down the inside of Winslade as they come up to the Tamburello chicane. Obviously that corner was made a chicane after the tragic death of Ayrton Senna, and you can see the memorial there in the trees if you pull over. Nice Portaloo there for the marshals as well. Not so they can wee on Ayrton's memorial, obviously. So we're into the final 5 minutes of the race. Walker is extending that lead over Greening. Dave, he was 2.5 earlier. It's now up to 3.7.
Yeah, he's pushing really hard now, isn't he?
Yeah. We saw him take the fastest lap, and he was 0.2 quicker than Greening on that particular lap when he did it. Oh, look at that. Dan Shaw, fastest lap of the clubbers then, a 1:42.671. And so Carollo, he's 25 seconds behind, is he? Oh, he's a long way back anyway.
Surprised, don't we normally see messages that say when people have exceeded their instant limit?
Maybe no one has.
I'd be amazed if somebody hasn't by now.
Yeah. Oh, Gerber dropping down the order. What's happened to him? He's just fallen behind Conception and Shaw. I wonder if he just had an off track. Saw his name go red. We're on board with Chris White. Now down in 6th place. That's a shame because he was heading for the podium, but at the moment it looks like the clubber's podium is Shaw, Carollo and Innes, and that's Dom Parker just driving straight on, and looks like he's had enough for the day. Big shame.
So I mean, Conception, for instance, like he was a couple of seconds behind line at one point.
Yes.
But now he's dropped quite a long way behind, so wonder whether that's instant limit.
Well, we saw him lose a place, didn't we, to Maxwell, and then he just seems to like he's. I think he's since that crash with Miller, it's just he's not been the same. He's not had the same drive, has he? And look at that line back into the pits once again, and Conception. And that, well, we cut away, so we didn't quite see if it was a drive-through or not.
I suspect line couldn't make it to the end with that fuel he had, and I suspect that Conception's got a drive-through for exceeding instance.
Yes. And look at that then. There's Lee Harding making a mistake, gets it back on the road. Innes being passed by Graham Bardsley then, who's now up to 8th place in class. So from the back of the grid, this is a great drive. Mark Sirag in 4th position at the moment in the clubbers, and he came 2nd in at Hockenheim. So nice to see him back. He did miss one of the races, so yeah, nice to see him back. Oh, Carollo, oh no, from P2 in class. What a huge shame. Agonising. He's falling down the order then. New fastest lap for Walker, a 1:41.444. Just to rub it in Steve's face. He's like, there's your number on my time, son. And Greening's almost off pace there with a 42.2. You think he's settled?
Yeah, well, yeah, he doesn't need to be going that fast anymore.
Ollie? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Greening?
Well, I was saying, do you think Greening's settled?
Yeah, he's got 10 seconds back to Geordie, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So that's Bardsley then being given the way through by Nigel Jobling. It's a shame Nigel's race went so south so quickly. Let's see him back for the next one at the Red Bull Ring. See Nigel doing what he does best, which is driving fast and being up front.
Yeah, it looks here like Conceptions and Lines extra pit have put them back behind the lead for the clubbers, really. Yeah. So that's for position and not lapping.
Yes, that's Innes in 2nd place, isn't it? And Sirag in 3rd now, so he's on for a podium. I said he had a podium at Hockenheim and he's going to get another one, which would be awesome. We're in the 46th minute of our 45-minute race, so lap 27 seems to be the final one. Looks like Rich Meester's off the road somewhere as well, big shame. Meanwhile though, as these guys, wow, Lime really pushing through Tosa. Here comes Ollie Walker then. And Oliver Walker wins at Imola for Alpha Esports Red. Congratulations to you, Ollie. Great drive. Stephen Greening, no setup, no problems. He's P2.
Well, he did another 41.4 over the line.
Nice. And Geordie Spetgens, so a 1-3 for Alpha Esports Red. That's a great result for them. Sirag being almost barged wide there. I wonder if he just had a little wobble as they came through the corner. And he's holding some illustrious company there with Line and Co and Nigel behind. I wonder if he just got a bit confused by all that going on. Here he comes then, Dan Shaw from the Only Dans, the winner of Club 1500 and a new fastest lap for the clubbers on the line of 42.3. Congratulations to you, Dan. Fantastic drive. Quite impressive as well to win F3 and win GT3 the next week in your class, isn't it, Dave?
It's indeed.
It's no mean feat at all. So, and we've got Innes coming out. Howdy, comes get back to 2nd. Great recovery drive from Mark. Mark Sirag coming home in 3rd. So it's a Dan Mark on the podium. It's the start of a song, probably. There's Winslade in his Lambo. Got a replay here. Lee Harding. Oh, is this what happened to him when he dropped it at the chicane? Ooh, crunchy time.
I think he was in 4th, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he was far up.
That's let Rob through. Take 4th.
He's going to lose that number 1. Oh, and this is the... Ooh. Carollo got punted there by... Is that Nigel Jobling, I think, in the blue? Yes, it is. Ah, that's that's crap.
Well, he yeah, I mean, it was like he lost it a little bit through that chicane.
Yeah, Gerber losing it. Paul Gerber, that is, losing it at Tosa. Well, it's like everyone's tyres were fried at the end there. His Line chasing down Innes and does the dive bomb into Ravazza. So you can pass into Ravazza.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a top split on clubbers, so he wasn't putting up so much of a fight.
No, Mark does tend to be quite sensible about that. So Oliver Walker wins the top split race at Imola ahead of Stephen Greening and Geordie Spetgens, his teammate. Rob Miller in 4th, as you said, Dave, with Stephen Maxwell in 5th. Dan Shaw wins for the Clubbers and he's 6th place overall. Then Lee Harding, Graham Bardsley up to 8th place. What a great drive he had. Evan Conception in 9th and David Lyne in 10th. Then we have Mark Innes, who's 2nd for the Club 1500. Mark Sirag 12th overall and 3rd in class. Then we got Rick Barrow in 13th. Gabriel Carollo, unfortunate they're down in 14th. Then Paul Gerber, Dal Gerber, Chris White, Merrin Hugavin, Gareth Winslade, Gavin Kelly, Steve Pepper, Juan Escamilla in 22nd place, Chris Forrester in 23rd, Manuel Cruz 24th, Nigel Jobling in 25th, Stephen McCann in 26th, Rich Meesters in 27th, Don Parker retired in 28th, and Jason Weaver, we saw him have a couple of spins and he sadly finished last on the road. Championship standings then, Geordie Spetgens maintains his position at the top, Stephen Greening maintains in 2nd, Oliver Walker up 1 into 3rd, displacing Rob Miller, who's down to 4th place. Then we have Lee Harding, Stephen Maxwell, Evan Conception, Philip Forrester, Nigel Jobling, I nearly said Philippa Forrester because I used to fancy her when I was a kid. Shane Abbott in 10th, David Lyne, Michael Messenger, Gavin Kelly, Don Parker, Reese Crichton, Graham Bardsley, Paul Gerber and Tur Malarin in 18th of the Clubbers, Rick Barrow, Maxime Hagelstein, Merrin Hugavin and Xander Van and Sam Stott and Loic Martin. Oh, keep going. We've got a lot of drivers visiting, but sadly quite a few of these people haven't raced consistently. Andres Fuelgrave, our former double GT3 champion, Dave, what's happened to him?
He scored 1 point.
I know, but where's he been? It's such a shame.
I know, we want him back. Yeah,
we do. Yeah. So looking at the Club 1500 Championship, Mark Innes now up into the lead of the championship ahead of Gabriel Carollo, Dan Shaw and Chris White. Yanniman Pruis falling 4 places, but he was sadly not in this race. Eric Pusey's in 6th. And we've got Mark Sirek in 7th, Dano Hammond in 8th, Winslade up into 9th, ahead of Steve Pepper, Costa Cakebread, who has now left the LOA sadly, Dal Gerber, Arno Cruz, Devon Allays, Rich Meesters, Chris Forrester, Jake Weaver in 18th place. And Jason Weaver just behind him. There's going to be a few more names, so I'll just let them crack up before I start talking again. Stephen Koenig and Stephen McCann, Juan Escamilla, Emmanuel Cruz, Sean Clark as well, and Keith Schooling. He's only been here and there. I've not seen Steph DeKinder for a while either. And Mitchell Day, sadly his work patterns are preventing him from racing, which is a big shame because we do love Mitchell. So looking at the team's championship, Dave, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, I mean, I think I'll put the teams to one side for a bit. I think one thing that I've noticed with the drivers is that Ollie has missed a race, and he had that race where he was disqualified because he overtook before the start line. So I think he's still in the running to win it. But yeah, he's in the winning team as well.
Yeah, I mean, now it looks like Alpha Esports is dominating.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, in Club 1500, so Transmutation have eased away a little bit from Onidans. So it's looking a bit clearer after that race, isn't it, Dave? But I still think it could be it's a 2-horse race probably between Transmutation and Onidans. It'd be interesting to see what happens after rounds 6 and 7 when we start to get a clearer picture. Are the Wizards on their way to the title, or can Onidans fight back? Certainly with Dan Shaw's pace this time, you wouldn't bet against him, would you?
How many races are left?
3.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
3? Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is round 5. Yeah.
There's quite a lot of teams and drivers still in running.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, that about wraps up our race at Imola for GT3 Season 5. 3 rounds to go then, as we say. The next one will be at the Rebel Ring. As a reminder, you can find us at loa.social/discord, which has links to all of our various channels. In fact, I think it's just loa.social, but yeah, loa.social/discord will tell you where you can find our website, our YouTube channel, and all the other good stuff that is LOA branded. Dave, thanks so much for taking the time with me today. I feel like I've learned a lot more about Ollie Walker, and we bring in the police about him the moment I get off this call.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. We've got to put a stop to it.
Absolutely, yeah. He cannot be trusted. So, in the meantime then, guys, thanks very much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Night night.